The button. The button. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my second episode of DevRel Chats. I know a lot of you are like, what is this girl even doing? There's consistency. I'm just going live all the time. But I think that it's important just to talk about as many things as possible, see what works, and kind of go from there. So today I'm very excited. I have Javier with Avalanche. Do you say Avalanche or do we say Avalanche? I know it's a point of contention.
I think it's Avalanche.
Avalanche.
Well, I don't know. I
like
say
that
Avalanche.
Okay, but it might be because you have an accent.
Yeah.
But I like saying that better. So, product manager for data tooling and analytics. Like boring for most people, but for those of us who are data nerds, analytics nerds, what does that mean in plain English, Spanish, or
so yeah,
maybe both? Maybe we also learn Spanish.
Yeah, I can do a Spanish one, definitely.
Okay.
So yeah, I am the product manager for the data and tooling team within Avalabs or Avalabs. And yeah, so we provide a family of APIs and SDKs to help internal products and external products interface with Avalanche. To give you an example, if you have used Core Wallet, you have used one of our products. So one of the products that our team maintains. So every time you open Core Wallet and you see your AVAX token balance, you see your ERC20 token balance. Every time you go and you see the transaction list, you're actually interacting with the data API, which is one of the APIs that the data and tooling team maintains.
Sometimes people hear like API and they are like, there's so many acronyms in tech, and why are there? I mean, most developers do understand what that is just off the bat. But for those of the audience that don't know, explain that first, and then we'll go into the Core Wallet.
Well, I think that is a good analogy for APIs and like a restaurant. Where it's like you are the customer, you're sitting at a table, then you talk to a waitress, and then the waitress goes back to the kitchen, is the one who gets the food and delivers to your table. So in this case, that the waitress is the API. You have the chef cooking in the back end. So we have plenty of back end systems indexing data and storing it in a way that is performant. So we have all these chefs in the back working in order to prepare the data, in this case, prepare the food. And then when a customer comes and say, hey, I want like this steak, the waitress goes back and bring it back to you. That's exactly what an API does. It just goes back to the back end, bring it back to you in a fast way.
And that's the goal of the internal team, like your team, is to make sure that that's working, that it's fast, that it's performative, that that it gets you it doesn't break halfway through. Because I think a lot of people forget that it's not just good tech, on the protocol side, but it's getting the information that you are producing from the protocol side. So there's just so many moving parts, and I think sometimes the boring stuff gets like lost in translation, but this is why we got to talk about these things, because and then we'll talk about vibe coding, but go back to Core Wallet, because I set mine up a couple of weeks ago, and I love that you can just log in with your Google or your Apple. Tell everybody, finish what you're saying about the Core Wallet and the API. But because right now it's too early, my brain just shut off. What is the thing called where you can log into your Web3 wallet with your Google or Apple? There's like a certain
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, it's called Seedless Wallet. I mean, that's actually
Okay.
part of the core wallet. I mean, we are not part of the core team. So the core
Right.
wallet team is a completely different team, and they specialize in the wallet for the web, for the
Right.
mobile, like iOS, Android version.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we're different teams.
Sure. Sure.
And actually, core wallet is now like a multi-chain wallet, so you can get data from many chains.
Yeah.
um, our team is responsible for the Avalanche data within the wallet. But of course,
Gotcha.
if you're consuming, like if you're using core for Bitcoin, then I mean they will consume a
Right.
different family of APIs.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I
Just
mean,
like
to give you
this.
an example, if you go to the official Avalanche Explorer, um, and you see like this bunch of metrics like gas consumed, total number
Mm-hmm.
of transactions, these type of things that usually people are looking into a blockchain to
Right.
see the health of the chain. Like, is this performing? Do we have apps running? How many smart contracts have been deployed? How many smart contracts are being executed? So if you see
Right.
the Avalanche Explorer, the main Avalanche Explorer, also that data is provided by our team.
Gotcha.
Um, and also, like, I mean, we cooperate with external teams like Blockworks, the Time. So yeah, everybody who needs data from Avalanche, we are here and ready to provide it.
And then how does the SDK feed into that? Let's talk about that next.
Yeah. So across many years, we have developed this family of APIs, but they're a little bit raw. So
Yeah.
we thought, like, why don't we do something in order to make it even easier for developers?
Right.
Just to include like one library, one SDK, and then you have all the tools in order to build anything on Avalanche. And
Right.
that's where the SDK uh, was created. So, like a few months
Right.
ago, we said, okay, let's put together this SDK with a lot of functionalities. And so the SDK wraps all of these APIs that I've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of like making raw calls to it, you can consume it through the API, and also extends functionalities for the P chain, for the X chain. So um, uh, not only for C chain, it's also for all the chains, including the
All the
L1s
chains.
on
Right.
Avalanche. And it has wallet functionalities, so you can actually create a wallet. You can send transactions. You can mint tokens. You can,
Right.
for example, one of the unique features of Avalanche is this capability of have many L1s with a
Yeah.
native way of communicating across them. So we don't need
Right.
an extra external bridge in order to move value or to
Right.
send messages across L1s.
Right.
This SDK actually makes sending messages across L1s pretty easy. With one line of code, you can like send messages across L1s. And with a
That's
few lines of
amazing.
code, you can mint tokens and bridge it across L1s.
Okay, but tell people like why that matters. Like how many steps does that remove from the normally like kind of there's quite a few steps and there's quite a few pieces that have to be put into place to be able to do that like multi-hop. Um why does that matter for people to know that they can just one line of
Oh,
code
yeah.
and they're there?
Yeah, I mean, the same way Stripe focused on making payments online with a few lines of code.
Right.
Let's say before Stripe was quite hard to do that, so they come up
Right.
with this idea, this mission of like let's make uh, payments online as easy as possible with a few lines of code. Same
Right.
thing we're trying to do with this SDK. So usually you will have to go and read a lot of documentation, learn a lot of theory, which is, of course, we want you to do that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we want you to really know what you're doing.
Yes.
But why not having something to make your life easier? Why not having something to let you test and experiment right away? before reading 100 pages.
Right. Exactly. Makes it just easier and faster to get things done.
Yeah. So that's the whole idea, and you like not having to read 1,000 pages in order to build an app, not having to be a genius, or
Yeah.
at least you might be a domain expert on certain things, but you don't have to be the main experts on everything. And
Right.
this SDK will make your life a lot easier.
I think that's what a lot of people don't quite understand about like vibe coding is, yes, you can spin up Claude Code or Grok Heavy. You can create all this entire structure of a full stack application. However, then when it starts saying, give me the API key to be able to plug in for you, people are like, the what now? And I think that the job of DevRel and product and all of that is to also recognize that there are those people out there that are like, I'm just going to vibe code this, or I'm just going to it's easy to spin up an L1. However, you need all of these other things to go along with it. How are you explaining to people like the why they need it, if you will, like, and how to plug it into their vibe coded piece of software?
Yeah. Well,
vibe coding first and foremost.
with this SDK, it's going to be actually a lot easier to vibe code.
Cool. So you embrace the vibe code meta right now.
Yeah. Of course, as I think as a product manager these days, you have to embrace it. Is a must.
It's so true. Yeah, I have to embrace it. Where like I'm trying to when I do like a vibe coding live stream where I'm doing it, live. I always have to explain like, I want you guys to be doing this. However, you need to understand what TypeScript means.
Yeah.
What are these things that you're doing? You're not just like, so there's a little bit of, understanding that has to go with it. So
I think I'm not brave enough to do vibe coding live.
Really?
Because it can go pretty bad.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard spaghetti code, but like, because I'm not a senior developer. I have a computer science degree from many years ago, like a really long time ago. I know people don't think I'm as old as I am, but I have to say, like, it was a really long time ago. Like the things that I learned in computer science school, college, don't even really exist they exist, but we don't use them anymore. And so like you either have to start, recently, or you have to continue that educational process because you're going to like kind of fall behind. So whenever I go on, I'm like, look, I understand the basics. I'm more of a junior developer. And I think that's what sets people up for more success with like vibe coding, is understanding the basics. So I don't know where I was going with that. I know you wanted to talk about the specifics of what you guys have going on right now. I would love for you to pull that up and kind of just do it, unless there was something else you wanted to get across to people about what we were talking about. Okay.
Let me share my screen.
It's very chill.
So let me this one. So I mean, I would like to invite people to go to this GitHub repo and have a look. This is
so with your browser, if you could go and like make it bigger. So that it's like zoomed. There you go. Perfect.
There we go.
People can also zoom on their phone and computer.
Okay.
So this is the GitHub repo.
This is the GitHub repo for the Avalanche SDK that I've been talking about. As you can see here, you have the Avalanche SDK. Then you can do operations on the X chain, on the P chain. So we on the C chain, on the L1s. Then you have the indexed data. You have the metrics data, which is, as I said, aggregated data across time. You can create webhooks also with the SDK, so that will allow you to react to real-time information. So let's say you want to monitor a particular wallet or a particular, like, I don't know, you want to do like this well monitor. I mean, of course, it has a lot of more applications, but you want to monitor, hey, tell me when there is a transaction of this wallet that is more than 1 million. So instead of polling the address all the time, you can just create a webhook to monitor the address, and then we will notify you when there is an activity on the wallet, and then you can react to that instead of. So I mean, to give you another example, if you use CoWallet on mobile, when you receive a token on your wallet, you're going to get a push notification saying, hey, you get this amount of this token. Underneath, that's also using webhooks in order to monitor and say, hey, this wallet receive certain token, send a push notification. Same way banking apps work when you get tokens on it, or like any brokerage account. So yeah, with this API, you have access to all these goodies.
Awesome. I like when people are proud of their work. Like it comes. Thank you.
Yeah, internally it's 3 APIs. So the client SDK will allow you to send transactions. It's fully compatible with VM, which is the most used SDK in order to interface with EVM chains. Right. But also you can do P-chain stuff like, I mean, P-chain, I don't know, probably from your previous interview with Martin, Avalanche has many chains. One of them is the P-chain, which is based on UTXO. That's where staking happens. That's where you register the validators and all of that. Right. You can do a lot of, actually you can create subnets and blockchains with this SDK. I'm talking about the transactions chain. Yeah.
The transaction.
I mean, when you're going to create an L1, they have multiple components. There's like a hardware component. Of course, you need to install a piece of software on a virtual machine and run it. The SDK, of course, doesn't handle that, but all the needed transactions that needs to happen on chain, you can do it with the SDK.
Gotcha. Okay.
The chain key, the SDK, is mainly about data. Here you can get all these balances, transactions, NFTs, all indexed data from the chain. And the interchain SDK is mainly to use ICM, which is our protocol for sending messages across chain.
Right.
And we are also adding support for ICTT, which is the protocol that will allow you to bridge tokens from one L1 to the other. So yeah, plenty of documentation here.
Why would somebody want to do that? Like, give me you're really good with examples, by the way. So I'm gonna DM you when I need like a good example for technical stuff. And I say it like sort of like joking, but it's such a skill to be able to like explain things in such a way right off the top of your head that kind of explain it easily with a good analogy. But why would a project want to communicate with another L1? Do you like, is that throwing you on the spot? Like, I can't think of a reason, or like, does that happen a lot where there's like a message that needs to be presented to another L1?
Well, messages in this case are like, let's say they're a tool that you can use in order to send information. So probably sending messages itself it has no meaning. Yeah. But if you're building, for example, a bridging application, you can use those messages in order to transfer information about what token is being breached, the amount of token being breached. If you're actually minting the token, or you are destroying or burning the token. And that's how many protocols use messaging in order to be the carrier information of what operations are happening cross-chain. So for example, if you're a game developer, you have your game L1, you have your own token on your L1.
Right.
Your in-game token. You build your wallet, people are doing operations with your token, but you want this token to get out of your chain because probably your chain is not connected to, let's say, an exchange where people can get liquidity, sell the token.
Right.
So in this case, your liquidity hub is going to be the C chain, because C chain is connected. I mean, everybody has interface with the C chain. All the exchanges out there have like a capability to interact with the C chain. So let's say you have this game, you have your token, you can use the SDK, and underline is ICM and ICTT, which are like two protocols created by Avalanche. So ICM is the message, ICTT is the bridging. So you can use these two protocols in order to take those tokens out from your L1 to the C chain. And once you have the token on the C chain, it's pretty easy to exchange it for another token using a DEX or a SEX.
That makes sense. And I think the fact that people have already been used to learning like what the difference between an L1 and L2 and L3, and like what they're used for. Now, I'm a big sort of proponent on like, we were a little too early back in 2020 and 2021 trying to explain blockchain to people. I know I was doing like little clips, little short form videos on TikTok, just trying to explain it. And they just all thought I was saying Bitcoin. So we were too early. And I kind of feel like now the timing is so right for being able to sort of explain L1s in the sense of, hey, now we have this consumer, blockchain world where Toyota can build their own L1 and, FIFA and all these different things that the normal, consumers are like, I recognize that. I don't understand what you're saying about blockchain, but I understand Toyota and I understand FIFA. And I get this, broad idea. I have said in the past many times that like, you don't, back in the Industrial Revolution, when the combustion engine became a thing, you didn't have to learn how the engine worked, just how to drive the car. And I've always felt that with whether it's Web 2 developers or kind of normie users, is that they need to just know how to operate on chain, or at least just know that they're on chain and not necessarily understand everything underneath it. But I think that the timing is right now for explaining to people, okay, now everybody can have an L1. Before, maybe even a year ago, people are like, what? Like what, why? And so I don't know if you found that too, or maybe I'm just seeing it from, way, way external, because I think that people on a team inside of a protocol may not have the same like viewpoint as somebody like me who's outside seeing all the protocols, everybody, what's happening with L3s and all of this. And you guys are really, insulated working on your specific project. But do you kind of like feel that too, that now the timing is right for being able to do all of these sort of mass projects?
Well, I guess the industry is kind of validating our bet in Avalanche to go this multi-chain way. If you see what is going on with USDC, with Circle and ARC, or what is happening with Stripe and Tempo. At the end of the day, they decided like, hey, no, we don't want to go to a public chain where we're going to compete with transactions from everybody. We want our isolated chain where we can set the rules, who doesn't necessarily to be matching with what a public blockchain needs. If you're a bank, you definitely have a different set of rules than a public blockchain. And that was the thesis for a long time in Avalanche, and it seems like it's being validated these days by all, if Robinhood, same. So it's definitely being validated these days. Like people want their own block space. They
Right. Right. But they're now like kind of understanding what that means and why. And being able to facilitate, I always talk about like the tools, of course, that's, the word for you, but the tools for companies and users and builders to use, I think are the most important things in a tech industry. Is like, it's the picks and shovels during the gold rush. Like that was the thing that was important. And of course the gold, but you're enabling all of this future excitement and things that people are going to really use and be excited about in the future by building these really great tools. So you said you wanted to do.
Oh yeah, I can show you a demo. I mean, this is something that I just built.
Perfect.
Very
the Vibe wallet.
The Vibe wallet.
I want to tell you, I wanted to do. Somebody talked about leak code the other day, and leak code, and somebody was like, that's for traditional software developers. What about elite code for Vibe coders? And so I was asking ChatGPT, can I call it Leet Vibe? And it was like, no, that's what's the word? Not copyrighted, trademark. And I was like, okay, now I'm thinking somebody's going to trademark Vibe coding, and like nobody is going to be able to use it in terms of like, hey, this is Vibe wallet. This is Vibe L1, like I Vibe coded an L1, by the way, without using the build, the Avalanche like build tools. And I still have yet to figure out if it works, but I was going to call it like Vibe L1, but I think we have to get away from it. Anyway, here we are with Vibe wallet.
So here's the Vibe wallet. As you can see, you can just like put a wallet address here, and then any wallet address, it will show you like what is the balance in the native token, which is AVAX. Then here we have some meme tokens here. It will show you also the list of transactions in the wallet. You can, do it for mainnet or testnet. It doesn't matter because with the same SDK, you can just use whatever you want. So yeah, this whole thing was created vibing. There's actually,
What is your Vibe code stack? Are you using Cloud Code?
So I'm using Cloud. Sorry, I'm using Cursor right now.
So that was something that I didn't know at first, is like there's a difference between the Cloud Code CLI and the Claude agent inside of Cursor.
Yeah.
So I, of course, went and paid for like the wild, it's like $150 a month or some crazy shit. Because I was just going crazy. And I was like building all of this stuff. Like, does this work? And then I got into this whole, okay, it built it, but I didn't really test it. I built something else, So, okay, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
So this is my setup.
So good.
This is the prompt that I use. Well, kind of prompt. Like there's this new tendency called now, instead of vibe coding, context engineering.
Wait, what is it? Context engineering?
Context engineering, yeah. So it's basically providing the agent with a PRD, so product requirement document.
Okay.
And then so I just start like, hey, let's build a web wallet to show balances and given an address, and also show the transactions in the wallet. So help me think how to break this into pieces and then write the plan. So yeah, I give him like a set of requirements, like you have to use the Avalanche SDK only, and then these are the 3 SDKs inside. Do not use Axios or Fetch in order to call the API directly. I don't want you to call the API directly. I want you to use the SDK always.
Right.
Show
Prompt
all the balances.
Engineering is so important. Another thing that vibe coders don't really get is like garbage in, garbage out. It's pretty simple. Like you have to tell it exactly what you want it to do. Don't leave it up to its own devices.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I give the instructions like minimal, practical. Use always the SDK. Make sure there's no API secrets, there's no API keys in the code, and the stack that it has to use. After that, I just say make a plan, and then it made a plan of all the phases that it was. I mean, I'm not doing this live because it took a while to go through all of this. So it break down the work in different steps, and then I was like, well, go on now, execute the plan.
Yeah.
And then plan was executed.
I'll go to like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever and start from like, that's where I ideate and then say, give me the right prompt, and then take that prompt and put it into the Cloud Code CLI. I'm actually using the ChatGPT one now, and like it just completely went out of my brain. For the OpenAI one. Is it code? No. Codex. Yeah. And I'll get the prompt from the LLM after I've put in my ideation, because I'm not a senior architect. And you do have to have a little bit of that, like you're saying, is like, only use this. You have to know what that is first before you tell the LLM. And I think a lot of people are struggling with that, where they're literally just like, build me a Vibe wallet. And then they think it's just going to go and do all the things. Who knows? Maybe it does, but I wouldn't depend on that for sure.
Yeah. You have to give context. So as you can see here, the agent is importing ChainKit, which is the part of the Avalanche SDK. And then, as you can see here, it is calling data IVM address balances list ERC20 tokens, which is a method inside of the SDK in order to list the balance of ERC20 tokens. So something that, by the way, is not possible calling RPC nodes, because you need an indexed API in order to do that, because there's no way to get all the ERC20 tokens from a given wallet just by making RPC calls. You will have to make like a lot of RPC calls. So our indexer box works in like that, like the chef that I was explaining works in the background, putting together all the balances for all the wallets in the chain, and then with the SDK, you just make a call, give me all the ERC20 tokens from this wallet, and provide the address, and you have the tokens. Same with with the native tokens, and same with the transaction history. It's pretty easy. Like, hey, given a wallet, just give me all the transactions in that wallet. And this is just to render the information, like the price, the token logo. By the way, our API also have a functionality that evaluates the token. So if it's a malicious token, it will give you an alert. It will tell you this is benign or this is malicious token, because like there is a service inspecting the content of the token, so the contract and the opcodes. So if it's a rug pull, if it's a scam or something, our API will tell you.
That's great. It's needed everywhere. This is going to be the first clip. Like, does your SDK like check for this and make sure, like that's so important. I like that you guys thought of that.
So yeah, there we go. We got the The Vive wallet.
We vibed it out. That's the best. I love that people like that. That's where it landed. Like that is the description of it, because it's absolutely the case. You are 100% vibe coding. At first, it was like what, maybe a year ago, maybe less, that I like first heard that. But I had been doing that a lot for. I was in graduate school for a short period of time a couple of years ago studying cybersecurity, but I was doing some coding for that. It's a long story, and I was just coding and then copy pasting it into ChatGPT and then doing all the debugging myself. So it was kind of this, I think a lot of people were doing that. I didn't call it vibe coding. It was using it for a debugger, and to kind of like explain to me what the code is. And it kind of like went from there. And what I'm finding lately is, because I think this ties into tooling and analytics and all of that, is like, where does AI fit in all of that? Well, you have to kind of go with it change as the technology changes, as the tools change. And now it's like you can not only have it do things, but you can learn from it. And so somebody will send me a GitHub repo, because I work kind of as a freelance project manager as well, where people are like non-tech, maybe founders, startups, and they're like, hey, can you find us a developer, or can you find us a product lead, on kind of a contract basis? And so I'll get their repo. I have one that I'm working on right now. I'll load that into Cursor. Just, it's so simple. Open the folder that you've either cloned or forked and say to Cursor, analyze this code, tell me what it does, tell me if it works, and boom. An hour later, I have a report to my, either prospective or new clients saying, this is what's needed. And then I can be like, I can take that information, put it into, I like OpenAI. Maybe I'm loyal to that or what, but, and it's very much trained on me for the last 3 years. But then I put it in there and go, give me a proposal for what's needed for this product, and this project that they're doing. And now I'm seeing like, okay, do they need this to become an L1? And now I can go, here's what you need to do, is take it to AVAX, or a box. I think that's what you said. A box? Avalanche?
Avalanche.
Did you see my Avalanche video? I think you probably did. Is it Avalanche? I really believe that, learning things, there's so many different ways, but humor is so like, it sticks in people's brains. It may not be like what we actually want to teach them, but it gets their attention. That's for sure. What do you think your next step, like, do you feel like content creation, we talked about this right before we went live, because this is your first live stream. Yeah. Nice
first
job.
live stream. Yeah.
I got you. My co-founder of DDevs met you, Valentina, in Argentina, and we talked about how like content creation is really important, even if that's not part of your job description. Having a personal brand, and I say like, even as an employee of a company, you really want to be there, even if you don't necessarily always have forward-facing or builder-facing roles. What do you think your next steps will be for this live stream? Do you think you'll do some video content, maybe Spanish video content?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm reaching out to Avalanche Team One. I think they do content for Latin America and Spain. So yeah, probably I will join some Spanish live streams. Yeah, and definitely with this SDK, it's opening so many doors for us, and we're going to be bringing more content related to the SDK in forms of like tutorials
Perfect.
and what you can do and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean,
I'm
like
happy to help with
it's
that
just a
too.
lot easier for people to see a video and then
Yep.
get it done in a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that with short form video, it
Yeah.
is so much easier. Just give them bits and pieces. And, not everybody, just use your own style. People are always like, how did you build this? I have like 300,000 followers on TikTok. And it's like, well, because I'm innately funny and I can like put these things together, I can't teach people how to do that. Just do your own thing. Maybe yours is the translation. Maybe one time you could come on and we test like a translation tool, because there's now these like live stream translation tools where like I'll speak in English, you respond in Spanish, and then we'll kind of test whether the translation is good. Because I don't necessarily think it's great to have everything separate. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know a little bit of Spanish. We can't have a conversational the whole thing in Spanish, but what if we tested out these cool tools? Because I don't know anybody else that's doing it, where we're getting to all of the people. I don't know, just an idea. I think that's the thing, is like always try new things. That's what I've been doing. I know consistency is really, really important, but I also feel like trying different mediums. I did TikTok. Now I'm doing this. There's all these different ways to do things. Don't get stuck in one way. Yeah. So this is good. What else do you want to get over to the people?
Well, I mean, I
This
just want
is
them
good.
to, join our Discord.
Yes.
Um, we have a channel for specifically for the Avalanche SDK. We
Wait,
have a
can you
channel
put
for
that in the
developer
private
tools.
chat so that I can put it on the screen? What is it? Actually, hold on. Let's go to Discord. Just the Avalanche Discord, right?
Yeah, the Avalanche Discord.
Let's see who can get there faster. And then I'll put it in the Avalanche. Invite people.
Yeah. So
Copy.
it's kind of easy if you go. I mean, we have all the everything that a developer needs in our GitHub repo. So if you go to our repo, let me see if I'm
Okay, in the
sharing the
repo.
screen. Why I'm not
Oh, sorry.
sharing?
There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
I had to share the screen
Yeah.
when I was doing
So
it.
if you go to our repo, then yeah, there we go. So at the beginning, it's pretty easy. We have like this feedback form here.
Yep. Perfect.
Just so if you want to leave any review, if you want to ask for something specifically, it's pretty easy. Just type here whatever you want to
I
for the
want to
SDK
point
to have
out to
next.
people that are like, what is DevRel? I want to say that like DevRel is so many different things, but that particular piece of like the feedback loop is so important. And DevRel spans all the different platforms. It can be developer relations in engineering, it can be in product, it can be all these different things. Because there was actually, I don't know if you know this, the other day, there was kind of this viral tweet from a guy from Replit who talked about, the need for people being able to explain products in a really easy way. And so all these people are like, that's DevRel, or that's this, or, that's sales. Somebody called it sales. And I'm like, okay, everybody's right, but also it's DevRel. And I think that's pushing it. But that feedback loop that you just showed is so, so important for people, because it is like it's a tool for everybody, where not only does the developer have to figure out what it is that they need, excuse me,
Yeah.
and then you as the product team take that feedback and and then you can use that as analytics, and the DevRel team can use it as analytics of like, how fast did you fix the issue? It's not even like necessarily like customer service or troubleshooting or, help desk. It's truly like these people are building and giving you feedback for what they need. You go implement that. And then you have this like new, service level that you've achieved, and you can use that for your specific internal analytics. I don't know. I just don't know if people quite understand how important that is to have that feedback loop.
Yeah, we want to capture as much feedback as possible, and that's why we
Right.
have these in our GitHub repo. So if you click here, you can join our Discord channel, Avalanche SDK.
Perfect.
You can ask questions, you can request features, anything that you need. You can join Telegram, ask on Twitter. Very important, you can book a meeting with me, like
Perfect.
one-to-one. So if you really want to share with us like what you're doing, what are your needs, we can even have
Yeah.
like a one-to-one. My calendar is open for invitations. We
That's
want
so
to
great.
talk to developers. We want to know what they're doing and how we can help them. Yeah, so you can request features, you can report bugs, like everything. There's everything you need here
Perfect.
to like inform us and help us build a better product.
Like, me help you. Did you ever see that one? Oh my God, what is it? Jerry Maguire. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's old movie with Tom Cruise, and he's like, "Me help you,
Yeah.
and he just goes on and on. But that's how I feel all the time. Like, I spent many years in tech support, so I led a 170 person tech support team for a Fortune 100, Fortune 500. At the time, it was Fortune 100. I don't think there's but it was like my role was to like help the help desk people, like help me help you with what you need. And it's just like this, this cycle of life. But this was really great, and you did a whole 45 minutes.
Thank you.
I feel like we could continue
I
talking,
survived.
and
I survived.
you did. I'm so proud of you. Good job, Javier. I think maybe we do another one. Let's figure out maybe other analytics that could be shown. Maybe I put together my vibe coded, Avalanche L1, and we go from there. Like we just do so I'm doing another series called Learn in Public, where I'm just kind of doing stuff. But it would be great to have you come in for like a half hour of it. Sometimes I do it for like 2 hours, where I'm just literally working live stream. And then I can clip that up, but have you come in and sort of answer questions like, well, this is what I did here. And, how do I get the right calls? And, we'll figure it out. That's
Okay,
as long
yeah.
as you enjoyed yourself here. Just
Yeah,
putting you on the spot, like, do this again.
definitely.
And he's like,
yeah.
all right, cool. Well, I
Okay.
hope
Well,
everybody,
thank you for your time
yeah,
and this opportunity. And yeah,
it was great. I'm a big fan of Avalanche for sure. And not just because I'm an ambassador. I really do take pride in that I get to choose who I want to work with for content and that kind of thing. And so I don't just take the first thing that comes along, if that makes sense. I really do feel like my reputation precedes me, or but I only work with projects that I really believe in. And I really do think this is going to be the easiest way for people to start building just blockchain in general, is with Avalanche and the way that these L1s work. So super excited to see where this goes. Thank you again, Javier. We are signing off. Thanks,
thank you.
everybody, for
Bye-bye.
watching.
Bye.